Another rousing rendition of a show that they call Dee and Fish present I'll Have Another. No. Dee presents I'll Have Dee, Freddie the dog.
I don't want my name on this show.
You're 100%.
Get my name off this show.
And our friend JFK and I talked about it, and your name needs to go first.
Oh, good Lord.
People respond better to you. They like you. I don't know. Like, it used to bug me. Not about you, but in general. You know, because I've always been kind of an afterthought, and Fish or whatever.
Oh.
And then it used to get in my head, and then I just said, you know what? Just let them.
Oh, good for you.
Just let them. That's called a segue.
Good for you.
That's pretty rough. So I recently read a book called The Let Them Theory, which you had, of course, already experienced or listened to or whatever, right?
Well, I knew about the theory. I have a friend that's a big Mel Robbins person.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I wasn't until I read the book.
Yeah.
And then I started to study her. Like, there's a podcast she did on Rob Lowe's show that I thought was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed her.
And she shows up, I don't know if it's in my Reels or my TikTok or my Facebook, whatever, one of them.
Because you're always working on yourself?
She'll see, well, aren't most people?
No, that's the problem. Oh. We don't work on ourselves, and then all of a sudden we go, oh, shit.
Trying to do stuff.
Right.
Anyway, I think I'm just trying to make it all make sense. Maybe that's my fucking problem. Maybe I need to stop doing that.
It's not going to make sense. It's never going to totally make sense. Like, for example, my dog just had he got neutered last week. And he's not supposed, they gave him a onesie instead of the cone because the cone, or the new cone's now inflatable.
Yeah, the donut.
And I said, well, what's better for Freddie? They said, well, the onesie, because he's now walking around with a donut around his neck. I'm like, okay. Well, now he's licking his junk all the time because he just like me, stretched out his clothes. So how do I get Freddie to stop licking his nuts?
Right.
Well, what's left? I guess he doesn't have nuts anymore.
I'm struggling as to how that's like that.
Well, sometimes you just got to let them do that.
No, you don't. You shouldn't be doing that. It's terrible.
Wouldn't you do
terrible
that?
Thing.
You're like, where's he going with it? I'm like, I've just let them. Just let them.
That's a terrible comparison.
Okay, so we are, most of us are trying to work on ourselves. I'm sorry I got distracted because I was pushing his head away from his junk.
No, but the Mel Robbins lady, a lot of people listen to her. She's
number one podcast and with whatever blah, blah, blah for your health, mental health. I read all about it in the book. She plugs it a lot.
So I listened to the book.
Okay.
I did not read the book.
Well, I printed out some notes, like not that I took, but I just went online because I read the whole book. And I got to be honest with you. And I mean, I'm sure she's heard this and I doubt she'll hear us, but I thought they get like about 2/3 of the way through. It got kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
But the end was good.
I know. I need to go back and listen to that chapter about kids, you said.
Yes, you should. The kid chapter, good memory. The kid chapter is really cool.
Yeah.
Works about working, So, okay, the let them theory encourages, this is according to the internet, encourages readers to stop wasting energy trying to control others and instead focus on their own reactions and choices.
Yeah.
Promoting peace and self-empowerment.
Right.
It is true. And it all started because, and she's told the story a million times, it all started because more or less she was, or not even more or less, her son was going to a prom, and he was a junior. And she's like, he finds a date just a week before. She gets all worked up. She's like, oh my God, he wants to wear tennis shoes with his tux and he doesn't have a corsage for the prom date. Well, and she's running around town getting everything done. And he's like, just chill out. She doesn't want a corsage. Well, Mel Robbins, being the good mother that she was, overdid it and was like, she's going to want a corsage.
Right.
And I don't want my son to be the one that doesn't give his date a corsage. So she gets a corsage. And it gets to be the night of prom. They get there and Mel says, here, my son got this for you, and gives the date the corsage.
Right.
And the girl had made her own.
Right.
So that became awkward. And then they wanted to go to like a pizza place and it was raining and they were going to walk in the rain. And the pizza place there was like 10 of them and it only holds 4 people. And they're all freaking out. And Mel Robbins' daughter, who is getting a cut of this book, I would imagine, and helped her write it, allegedly, or I'm sure she did actually, helped her write it, said, Mom, what are you so stressed out about?
Yeah.
Just let them do it. Let them go live their life.
Right.
And then when she started to do that and apply that, it works, right?
Totally. Which I think, I mean, I guess this philosophy it's just a different way to say let it go.
Yeah, but with parenting, that you can't always do that. If
Right.
you say let it go with your daughter, for example, in some things, the next thing you know, your daughter's 44 living in your house.
Right, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you still have to draw boundaries and stuff. But I think for a lot of stuff, you need to just let shit go.
Yeah.
And you need to
I think the job
not
is the
be
worst.
so worried about what other people are doing or what other people are thinking or what other people are feeling.
Like in-laws or your
Right.
or your significant others, relatives or whatever.
Right.
Like if there's stress there, it's like, hey man, that's not my thing.
Totally. And the big part about it was just basically, and this book just amplifies things that have been said 8 billion times in 8 million different ways, right? And it's just, you shouldn't be so worried about what everyone else cares about, thinks about you, and thinks about what you're doing. And you don't need to be worrying about them. You need to be worrying about your own damn self.
But isn't that debatable?
I don't think so. No, not at all.
Like what if you're worrying about what somebody else is doing because it's not good for them?
That's
Which
not your
she
fucking
covers.
problem.
She covers that in the book a little
Right.
bit. She's like, I think it was like a couple of her friends that are married. You can always tell when I actually read a book because I sound knowledgeable. A couple of her friends are married, and one of her best female friends is married, and the husband's getting fat, and he's sitting on the couch, and he's
Right.
not doing all the things, and she's getting irritated with him.
Yeah, right.
And she's like, you got to let your husband do that, and then you wait 6 months, and then you reevaluate, but you got to be supportive.
Right.
So how are you going to be supportive if your kid's doing? And I'm not, obviously your kid's not doing this, but how are you going to be supportive if your kid's doing crack?
Right.
Let them get over heroin? I mean, isn't there an exception?
Well, I mean, that requires professional intervention. You can't do that on your own.
And especially because you're not a professional.
Right. I mean, come on.
I had a friend whose sibling was in need of counseling.
Yeah.
And the friend offered to help out. And the mom stepped in and said, no, we're going to cure this heroin addiction with marijuana. And then, 7 years later, they did. But it took 7 years out of that person's life. So.
Yeah, maybe a 90-day inpatient would have been the way to go.
Or a 1 year, even a couple inpatients.
Yeah.
Okay. So you let them do that. But what about those of you with kids? Like, I don't have kids. So for me, I was reading it and, I got it with the prom thing. Fine. They're going to prom. But isn't there a point when you want to intervene?
Well, yeah, obviously. You can't let your kids be fucking free range.
Okay. Well, that's a thing, right? Isn't that free range parenting?
And how's that working out for people?
I don't know.
Yeah, their 14-year-olds are stealing cars and crashing them. That's how it's working out.
Okay, so you're okay. Is this your platform? You're not necessarily wrong. Okay, so let them and let me. You want to talk about let me, or do you need to?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know that we're getting to the gist of the book here. I mean, you're focusing on so many like hardcore negative things and like the extremes of things. But the let them theory, I think, at its core, can be applied to your everyday bullshit.
Okay.
For
example,
like getting mad in traffic.
That was an example in the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting mad about whatever, somebody at work doing something stupid.
Checkout lane, I think she said.
Whatever. Yeah. Like everyday shit that you feel your blood pressure rising about. Like you need to let that shit go.
Okay, so let them deal with their own shit on the
Let
traffic.
them be fucking irritating.
Okay, let them do that and let me
think about something positive. Whatever. Let me tend to my own shit. Let me figure out whatever. Let me focus on something good. Let me whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I like that.
And
that's let them to release what's draining you. Let me to reclaim your energy and choices.
Right.
Is what she said in my little notes.
Right. I mean, the basis of it is to not. It's all that the fucking battery drainers of the world, man. The people that never add to your bucket that always are taken from it. That's the shit right there.
Do you find that since you're like right now, you're on this whole life journey, do you find that out of the life journey that you're on right now with your, you're not necessarily drinking as much and you're working out all the time and frankly, you have a positive partner.
Right.
Do you find that it just makes everything easier?
Oh yeah.
Like let's not go on the partner. Let's go on the booze. Like you and I definitely would be a couple in right now doing this, right?
Right.
And it ripples out. Like I'm always gonna it's pretty hard for me to say no. But that being said, I get it, and it's smarter for me as well. But do you find that that's helped you get clearer, remove anger, where you might be bothered normally?
No, I don't think so. The two were never related for me.
Okay.
At all. I don't know. I think the decision to not drink as much didn't really have much to do with like my mood or anything like that.
Okay. Like I had a friend years ago that was like, if you have a lot to drink, it removes the filter, right?
Right.
So she would be really, really honest.
Yeah.
And that's not always a good idea.
Not for everybody.
No.
No, I don't really have a filter.
No, you really don't.
To begin with.
You have common courtesy.
Yeah.
You let them work through their shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's me or other friends, I would imagine.
Right.
Right.
But no, I was never, and I don't know, and I never really felt like it was like making me see things not so clear. If anything, I was drinking to deal with to make other shit tolerable in my life.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like would just make it easier to kind of go through the motions, you know?
Okay.
And then so when the shift kind of happened and I was making everything in my life a little more positive, I didn't need or want, there wasn't the need to make it more tolerable. It was tolerable sober, you know what I mean?
And it's not like I'm not saying you were like unhealthy. Well, I mean, if you go by the statistics, we both were. Yeah.
I can drink a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a hell of a tolerance. But yeah, that being said, it's not like you were coming into work stumbling up the stairs.
No,
I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, you and I notoriously, there's a count in each of our phones, there's fish and D Day.
Right.
Which I should, but D Day sounds so cool. But anyway, there's fish and D Day where when I moved back into town, you and I went out and ripped it up and had a good time. And the bar bill was $170 and we had 2 appetizers.
Right.
Yeah. And it wasn't that fancy.
Southwest rolls, what up?
Yeah, garlic cheese curds.
Yeah, no, I
don't know. I was just thinking about, like, when I read that book, I thought about it for myself.
Yeah.
They talk about prioritize what matters in there.
right.
Like that's your, so what matters for you is your daughter, your significant other, your horse.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really, aren't those the 3 key things? Not necessarily in that order, or maybe in that order. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I guess, kid, significant other, horse. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, just like health wise, we're not getting any younger.
Yeah, that's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, it's, and I'm like, I would just like not drinking, whatever, getting hammered, but it would be like, like having a cocktail while you make dinner or having, whatever. And then it's just like you're drinking to just because that's what you do. You have a cocktail, you have 3 cocktails. Right, totally. Yeah. And then it's like, I don't need to be having all these cocktails. You know what I'm saying?
I'm getting there.
Right. I know you are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Whatever. That was kind of that whole thing.
I think that when you read like these books, you had me read the Badass book and then we did the Let Them. And I think when you read these books and you start to learn about yourself, what you sometimes realize that you just need help.
Right.
Like I got through the Badass book and I'm like, okay, now I've been busting balls on my insurance company, but now I'm really going to bust balls on my insurance company to get this. Because I'm not going to pay for insurance and not get my free therapy. Right. No matter how hard they make it. That's where I'm cheap or stubborn or something.
Right. Totally.
Like I want my damn free therapy.
Yeah, totally.
You get this many hours a year free therapy, I want it.
Right. 100%.
I think that's fair.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I did. Right.
Yeah.
I went through all that bullshit and then took months, but I sped it up a little bit after I started reading these books and I was like, okay, I might need some help. And that's like, I mean, but there's some stuff if you use the let them, let me theory, I like it when she talked about her job. You and I both work for the same company and it's a great company for what we do for radio because frankly, most companies throughout the country are doing massive layoffs.
Right. Totally.
So you forgo one thing for the other, right? I mean, in some situations, like some radio companies pay an ungodly amount of money, but you could get fired in 3 minutes.
Right. Totally.
So it's like you're going to Vegas.
Right.
Where ours is a little bit different, and much more secure. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you apply that when you apply it to your job, he said carefully, right?
Right.
You know, probably the only 7 people that listen to this podcast work with us. So, but when you apply it to your job, I think it makes a difference.
Oh yeah, totally. But I've always had that thing at work too, where it's like I just stay in my lane.
Yeah, I've never been the best at that, and you know that.
Right, totally.
Yeah, I'm not a gossip, but I love to hear it.
Right.
And yeah.
I'm very much so like, I know what I'm here to do. I'm coming in here to do it and do it well, and then I'm leaving. And I'm leaving work here.
Okay, so
Bye.
That's what my brother is really good at doing, and I'm not the best at doing that. I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And my show's a little different than yours, where I
I'm still like scheduling interviews and answering emails and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying
outside of work, but I'm not dealing with any like bullshit.
And that's what I've started doing.
You know what I mean?
Right? And since last year, where I was like, okay, I need to change the way that I view my job, right? And stay in my lane.
Yeah. Like I don't think creatively we can't shut it off.
No.
Like there's no.
That's why we do what we do.
Right.
That's our passion.
Totally. I mean, I don't think you can shut off the radio entertainer brain or whatever, where you're always looking at something and being like, how can this be funny on air or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then like and this has become our outlet for not always serious, but a little bit, a little bit different.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, it's more feral.
You do a rock morning show. I do a country morning show.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Put the cunt in country.
I do it.
Man, I love that.
I know. That's like your favorite thing.
So dumb.
But, I mean, if you look at, like, I used to get bothered 2 years ago.
Right.
By stuff that I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm just doing my job and I'm providing what I need to provide. But if Barb in sales, you know, or if Susie and the person that schedules commercials doesn't do that, it's all I can do is let my boss know.
Right. Totally.
Hey, dude, here's what's going on.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to not be involved, right?
Well, and
so how do you do that?
I just don't. I know that is none of my concern. Seriously, my department is my department and that is it. If something happens at work and I have a question about it, I send an email and that is where I let it go.
That's
because
let them, right?
Right, 100%. They have to do their job. And if they don't do their job, I am not in management for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and that's...
Even though everybody wants you to be.
You know? Like, no,
I can't even imagine you as my boss. You are a dumbass. What?
I did. I tried management. I was APD for a second down in Springfield, Illinois. And those were literally my memos. You fucks need to show up to work on time. This is a radio station. There will be dead air if you're not here on time. McDonald's breakfast is not a priority. Getting to work on time is a priority.
Is that true? There was APD's assistant program director. Okay, so wait, is that true?
Yeah.
That you said you fucks
in
an email?
Not in an email.
Okay.
It's a fucking letter that was posted in the studio.
Oh, so so it wasn't writing. Oh my God.
God.
I've done management before, but not like, I mean, just in like Arby's in a movie theater, right? When you're younger, but
yeah.
Oh my God.
Idiots.
Yeah, but you don't put that in writing.
Yes, I did.
All right. And they asked you for more management?
Well, they didn't tell me no.
And well, they're probably afraid.
I never got in trouble for it.
God, that's amazing. But but now you would.
Oh, now I would, yeah. Now I wouldn't. Oh, yeah.
You can't do the things
no, you have to work with it. When there were more morning shows, I could totally see jealousy being a problem. Like, be like, why do they get billboards and we don't?
Yep.
Like, I could totally see that being a thing.
It happened with my old show.
Yeah.
Well, it came in reverse. Like, we were the big earners for the building, kind of like you're kind of a big earner for the building, right? And we were the big earners for the building. Like, we were the big earners when we were up against you.
Yeah.
Across the street, working for a different company, and we were the big earners for the building. Like, we were making that building the most money. And we're like, why aren't we getting billboards, or why aren't you helping us with a digital campaign? Like, they're like, well, we don't want people to be jealous. Well, why are we driving this old station vehicle? Well, we got to let everybody else get it first. We don't want to be jealous, but we're paying for it.
It's so crazy.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's that. So, but in the let them theory,
right?
It's
once you bring it up, you brought it up. That's all you can do. Now you got to let them make the decision, and then let you decide where to put your energy beyond that.
And I mean, in all frankness, and I'd be absolutely shocked if he listened to one. He'd probably listen to this one. But if our boss listened to this, to be honest with you, there's things outside of our scope. You know, like we might be changing the oil on the car, but we don't necessarily know about what's going on in the office and the behind the scenes and the computer. Like,
and that's why it's
stay in your lane, right?
Right, totally, 100%.
But don't you let them know still, though?
About
like whatever, if there's a problem, you just go to your immediate supervisor and say, hey,
totally,
this is going on, just so you know. All right, peace out. I'm going to go work on my stuff.
And if it needs to be passed on, I just assume that they will pass it on.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
All right, so moving on. That's about as close as we could get to that, I think. Focus on self-acceptance.
Yeah.
So the book emphasizes the importance of self-acceptance and letting go of the need to control or change others, promoting a sense of inner peace. So let me ask you before we dig into that. Isn't this the point? Like, this is where what I was on. The book's 300 pages, 304 or something like that.
It could be 200.
It could be 150. And that's what
100%.
Like, I honestly, I love what she's doing. I love the stories. But I promised you I promised myself I was going to read this book from nut to butt.
Yeah.
There's a love section, which I thought was interesting. There's all this stuff, and I'm going to read this book from nut to butt. But right around page 170 to 220, you know, I'm like,
oh yeah, it was like, crawling along, dude.
This is dragging,
and it was just like I'm like, we get it.
Yeah,
we get it.
Like now you're just. I think you're literally just talking to talk.
We're just milking it.
You know, like you and I probably will do this podcast for about 10 more minutes, but if we were done right now, we would just be done. Right?
We are going to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, like that's really what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I felt the exact same way. And I just shut it off.
And you're listening to it, so you're going to have to put forth effort. You're driving.
How dare you, sir?
I'm saying, I'm reading. I'm not a big reader, and I'm trying to become one again. And I never really was.
Dare you, sir?
Yeah. You are driving in a car, probably hitting your massive joint because you're not driving. You're passenger in a car next to your buddy, whomever, hitting a big old stick of weed.
Why are you so jealous all the time?
I'm not a weed. I have the munchies. It makes me self-conscious. Okay, so if you focus on
self-acceptance.
Yeah, and your lack of need to control or change others.
So this is interesting. This plays into a book that I'm reading right now called The Untethered Soul.
Is that like a bondage?
You would think.
Yeah, I hope.
No, and it's a very heady book. And it's about... God, this is going to get crazy. How, like, none of this is real. Like myself, what I look like, all of this, none of this is real.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? It's merely... Dude, here's some Pink Floyd.
I'm looking at I was told JFK said I can't play music.
I know, totally, yeah. So it's merely a vessel for the consciousness that is the center of me, right? And actually,
so Matrix.
Not Matrix.
You're so excited by this book.
We would be plugged into something.
But
if
that's
it was
what you're saying, right? You're plugged in. Your mind
our energy is back here. So this is just it's what I decided to make as a portrayal of myself, the vessel to carry me. This is
I'm pissed
what
at
I am.
myself.
I'm like, you dumb bitch.
Stupid. I have a long back, a small crack. My friend once jokingly said, but he's probably right, I'm hung like a bull field mouse. like, are you kidding me? What the hell was I thinking?
And so then it becomes, it's crazy because then it kind of makes like self-acceptance a little easier because you're like, okay, it's just the vessel carrying around my consciousness. It's okay. And then it makes it a little easier to like work on yourself and like love yourself because like it's pretty incredible what's going on inside your brain, you know, and like we really don't take a lot of time to check in with ourselves and be thankful and express gratitude for ourselves for just being here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you really kind of take for granted.
I get that.
Yeah. You really kind of take for granted until your body fucks with you and like
Your heart stops because you have clogged arteries.
right,
Yeah.
and something goes wrong, you don't think about your body, really. You don't. You just kind of go through the motions every day.
It's true. You work out until you get hurt.
You know,
No,
right.
I get it.
Totally. So I don't know. That book really made me think about that a lot more. Where I was like, okay,
What's that called? Tied up.
the untethered soul.
Untethered soul.
It's a trip. Like I have to like pause it and like let shit sink in after I listen to a chapter. Like it's really heady, dude. There's a chapter in there that's like talks about meditation and then how like you can reach like a different level of meditation when you like figure out like
Seriously?
yeah, like you're in meditation but you realize where you're at in consciousness in meditation and then like so you're like outside of your outside self. Like it was fucked up when I was listening to it. I was like,
So
how
it's
is that even possible?
I hate
Like
to. I'm going to get my
meditation inception.
It's like Doctor Strange. So when they're like, they push
I don't know what that
you,
is.
It's a Marvel movie. So they push you, and then you're outside your body, looking at your body,
Right, like something like that.
but not Doctor Strange.
But not, yeah.
But real.
Super weird.
Okay, that's so. That is what you've been diving into. Now, is this what you talked to your significant other about?
She was listening to it. It was she was
I
listening to
don't
the
see
chapter.
her. I don't see her listening to that. That's gonna mess with her head. That's gonna bring up issues.
She was listening to the chapter about I think it was called, let me look it up. I think it was called Let It Go or Fail.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's see.
So it's like the let them theory. This again is called the untethered soul, apparently, and it's like the let them theory, but it will fuck with your head more than Mel Robbins kind of eases you into a good.
Yeah, this
I'd
is
start
like
with let them theory.
This is Let Go Now or Fall is what it's called.
I think
that
that
was
you
the chapter it was on.
like go now or fall. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe if this was school, like elementary school would be the let them theory, and yours is college.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe don't jump into that.
Yeah. This is pretty crazy.
You're obsessed with it right now. I could see it.
It's super good. It's super good.
Super.
Yeah.
It was been reviewed as super good. Okay, so
The Lucid Self, I think, was the chapter that was about like
outside
realizing where you're at within meditation. It's been nuts.
Do you know years and years ago, like I was in college, I was like 22 years old, and I was a camp counselor. My buddy ran a camp, and I broke my foot, so he let me work there for the summer. And I did this meditation thing because we did this drama thing at the camp with the kids, and I did meditation with them. And one of the kids said that they saw the devil during the meditation, and they completely shut me down. Like I almost got let go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she like called her parents, said that because I was good at that. I had the soothing voice, and they were like, I'm like, go to a happy place, and they saw the devil.
That sounds like she's got a problem.
She probably has murdered somebody by now anyway.
Yeah, totally.
That was well over 20 years ago. Okay, so the let them theory.
Can we find her?
I doubt it. Look at me. What's it called? CCAP?
Audrey Sealer? Who is it?
Audrey Sealer. What a great. If you're ever bored and you want to Google an amazing story of somebody that made a mistake and cost a city a lot of money and probably her parents a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look up Audrey Sealer from Minnesota and Madison, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Do you know that? Did you ever so my old air partner and I we had a digital billboard.
Yeah.
And we went into the woods. This woman pretended she was a college student, pretended that she got abducted because she needed attention.
By a black dude.
Was that
It's always a black dude.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I have no reply to that. But no, so we went into the field and we tied each other up and we reenacted it for a digital billboard.
Oh, boy.
When she was driving from Minnesota with her, we didn't know this. She was with our friend, Officer Larry, and he was driving with the parents and Audrey to go to the court case. He picked them up and drove them into town to make sure they were safe because a lot of people were pissed.
Yeah.
And they drove right by it and looked right at it.
No.
And then the billboard said, "This has nothing to do with Audrey."
You know, she's like an exile in Minnesota, you know.
Still? It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, she changed her name and she's an author.
Oh, is she really?
I think so. I think that's true, but
Is her name
I
Mel
might have
Robbins?
just made that up.
Her name is Mel Robbins. And that is our segue back to the Let Them Theory. See how good we could do this?
No. Something you ever do that? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I read that, or I might have, but I might not have.
Clickbait. Yeah.
You know, like.
I'm pretty sure that Dee said she saw the Marvel movie Doctor Strange.
No, I haven't.
What the hell? Is she an author? Now I want to know.
I think she is. I think it'd
be great if it was Mel Robbins. It can't be because like she's older than me and you, obviously. She's looking it up now. Well, while she's doing that, I'm gonna read you my notes here from the Let Them Theory. Here's what I got.
Okay.
Book emphasizes the importance of, just to reiterate it, saying let them to release what's draining you and let me, can't believe it. I hope she's an author, to reclaim your energy and choices. We'll find out in a minute. Prioritize what matters. The theory helps you focusing on what Dee was saying earlier. Practical tools and techniques. The book provides practical tools and techniques to help the readers apply the Let Them Theory. It also sources something that Dee's probably read. It would be kindergarten if this was elementary school. This is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing she does, which is what made her famous. Mel Robbins became famous because of this. You lay in bed and you think about what you should be doing, and then you say, F it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do it. And you get up out of bed.
Oh, okay.
So it references that in the book if you want to learn more about that. The book emphasizes the importance of self-acceptance and embrace authenticity and vulnerability. Encourages readers to be authentic and vulnerable, freeing themselves and others from the pressure of perfectionism. Do you feel that you have to be perfect?
No.
I used to.
Really?
Which is funny. Because if you look at me, again, according to Dee's other book called Tie Me Up, Sally, or The Untethered Soul, or whatever the fuck it was called, according to Dee's book, my brain decided, hey, you know what would be really funny? Let's create a guy that has an hourglass figure from above his belt buckle to below his neck. Let's make sure his nipples point outwards. We're going to give him a long back and a small crack. And let's make him a ginger so he never tans.
Are you going to be all right? I feel like you're...
I feel like this. The Let Them Theory changed my life. I'm good. I feel wonderful.
Don't cry.
I'm great.
Don't cry. I hate it when he cried. Annoys me.
I did hear that. I did hear that if I can get my therapist maybe, who's all of a sudden disappeared after just 2 appointments. He says he's sick and going on vacation, but whatever.
He's on hiatus.
But I feel like I'm going to get my therapist to make Freddie the dog.
Yeah.
One of those
a service
dogs so I could take him everywhere.
Oh, my God. You're going to be one of those people.
I didn't want to be, but God, I mean, did you see the anxiety when we got here today?
Yeah.
He was going crazy, poor little guy. But I guess I've only had him a week, so. All right, did you find it out?
I can't find it.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I actually heard that she was running a Fortune 500 company.
I can't find it.
Do you think maybe she's, why is she hiding, by the way? It's been like 15 years. I guess we all didn't know the name Audrey Sealer.
Yeah, because it was drilled into our heads.
Audrey Sealer.
Yeah. And so.
I hope our buddy JFK hashtags Audrey Sealer. We could use the help. Okay, did you find something?
I don't know.
I'm going to wrap this up if you haven't found anything.
No, I haven't found it. I need to find it. It's going to drive me freaking nuts.
Maybe you could do it, like source it in the next podcast or something.
No, whatever.
All right, you want to go upstairs?
Nah.
Let's go.
Have
another. Oh, yeah, sorry, you're supposed to say, hey. All right, hey, Dee, what do you want to do?
Have another.
Is that how you sound when you're with her?
No.